Gemini, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early May 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business, as always, and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can see what's happening with the Geminis, please. My God, Spirit team, I hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek in for the Gemini collective early May? Getting close to your birthday, my friends. And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot. Just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Gemini. Early May, what is the energy? What is the vibe from my good friends? And yeah, I'm using a different oracle deck than I've been using for quite a while. It's a little Alice in Wonderland one. It's really cool. All in the golden afternoon. Now, don't be concerned about the art style. For some people, you're going to love it. Some of you might be a little concerned by it. And when I see this card, all in the golden afternoon, to me, it does feel pretty optimistic, which is really nice. Now, I do feel it ties in with what I've seen for you in recent weeks, where the first oracle card is all about perspective and how you frame things. So whether you're going through good times, maybe you're a little bored, maybe you're going through a rough patch, when I see this card, it's like, okay, well, maybe there needs to be a little perspective shift here. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the May subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on his third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about it. So yeah, we see Alice. She's looking a little creepy there. And what do I think of when I think of a golden afternoon? I think of being outside, being in nature, being with friends, just feeling very optimistic, warm, and fresh. So for some Geminis, maybe you need to refresh your energy in one way or another, whether that is getting out in nature or changing your perspective on things. Now, I know sometimes, especially when we go through difficult situations, it's hard to pull a positive out of a negative, but it is possible. Now, if you are going through any problems or you're feeling stuck, a perspective shift could be really good for you as well. So whether it's asking somebody what their opinion was or pulling yourself out of the situation, say, you know what, if this was someone else, what would I advise them? So to me, it's all about a shift in perspective and staying optimistic and obviously protecting your energy, because I'm visualizing golden light with this card. So we're going to leave it at that. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say the first card here doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for the Geminis, please. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It was really strategic, if I do say so myself. Now, it was titled They Are Planning. And sure, we could have been talking about somebody else that, you know, they're planning on doing a certain thing, or they're being very strategic in their mode and in their actions. But for some Geminis, it could have been Spirit saying the same to you, saying, you know what, I mean, maybe if you did something a little more structured, if you go step by step by step, there was a big importance on the strategy. So whether it's the need to plan something out a little bit better, or maybe we're seeing somebody else that's in the planning phase. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else's, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for my Gemini friends. What's happening in early May as we get close to their birthday season? And of course, we're starting here with the 2 of Swords, very mysterious, blindfolded. Now, this doesn't have to be a bad thing, but this card does have some questions that need to be answered. So for some Geminis, that could possibly be it. It's like, all right, well, I need more facts, or I don't quite understand. Like, there's an energy like that tied to it. Let's get a couple more. What do we have here for Gemini in early May? Page of Swords, so a little watching here. And I mean, that is one of your power cards too, but very sword heavy. Now, if this was another sign, I'd be a little concerned by all these swords. But since you're an air sign, I'm not so much, to be honest. It kind of feels like your comfort zone. Okay. And we have the Death card. Do not be nervous of this card. It's all about change and transformation. So we do have a bit of an intense type of energy here this week, Gemini, and I mean, you're not alone in that. I've been seeing that across the zodiac. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first glance, we're looking at almost, I mean, all internal energy so far. And you know, I always like to look at the elements first. We already spoke about the air, the swords. Now, that is your power element. That's your comfort zone. So at least for part of this reading, it's like, all right, I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm comfortable here. So I feel like that could be a comfort zone. But we also have water, which is emotion. So it's like we have the mixture of the mind and the heart. All of it's internal. So just know for a lot of Geminis, I mean, you might have some emotional spikes, or there's just an internal intensity, whether it's like a lot of think, or feel. So we'll have to really dig deep into this. And I feel like that's part of the whole archetype we're looking at, is about digging deeper. So let's go through piece by piece and really start to build this out, because we have a mixture of stuff. We have like power cards for you, we have karmic energy, we have mystery. It's like we have a little bit of everything. Position number one, we're starting here with the Two of Swords. Now we see this individual there, arms crossed, two swords, blindfolded and hoodwinked. It's nighttime, there is a moon, so there's plenty of archetypes of mystery involved with this card. Now in the classical sense, all twos can represent decisions, choices, being at a crossroads. Do I do this? Do I do that? So there's a lot of consideration happening here. There's someone like in their mind about something for sure when this card is in the mix. But to me, I just see it as huge mystery in one way or another. So whether it's the surprising or the unexpected. Now, for some of you, yeah, it could just be the case where you might be dealing with something and it's like, all right, well, where do I go from here? What is the next step? That could be possible with this card, but this doesn't always have to be a bad thing. To me, there's just a lot of thinking, pondering, and digging deep. So for some of you, whether it's looking for facts, whether it's the perspective thing we saw earlier, all of that can be in play. Now, the big challenge with this card, aside from all the mystery and secretive type of energy, the Two of Swords could feel a little stagnant, right? Like, because it's not really doing much. It doesn't have all the facts. So how can it move forward without all the facts? So we'll just have to see whether it's something that does pop up out of nowhere, or it's that energy we're already tapping into. I mean, it doesn't always have to be a challenge, but it is starting with questions. So for some Geminis, maybe there's certain things where you just need to question it a little further, or maybe you're not asking the right questions. That could be possible. But moving to the center, we have our good pal here, Mr. Page of Swords. So, you know, I always say all pages, they're students, they're all messengers, especially for you as an air sign. This is a card that could represent you, could represent younger individuals. So when we see this show up in a reading, it could tell us something that's coming towards you or a way you might be feeling. Now, in the classical sense, the Page of Swords is a little bit different than the other pages. This one is a little more defensive than the others. This is a very skeptical type of energy. So when I see this with the Two of Swords, it's like either I'm investigating something, I'm digging for information, I'm trying to connect the dots. Like, it is giving me investigator type of energy for one reason or another. Again, it could be a talk, could be a conversation. We're just going to have to see how it plays. But the Page of Swords is also the watcher of the tarot deck. Now, this could tell us a couple things. You might be under the microscope. Maybe someone's keeping tabs on you. Maybe you're keeping tabs on someone else. That could be the case when this card is here. There could be a lot of watching, like wait and see, watch and see what happens type of energy. So we definitely want to look into this further. But yeah, the page is usually very defensive. So we'll get into that. Now, moving to the back end, we have a very, very powerful karmic card. We have the Death card. Now, for a portion of you might be connected to Scorpio when this card is in the mix. And I know the imagery is a little disconcerting. It's not the nicest imagery with this guy trampling people with the horse. But to me, death, if you're not connected to Scorpio, it doesn't always just represent endings. Of course it can, right? It can represent something coming to a head, something culminating, something ending, absolutely. But to me, this is more about the change. It's more about the transformation, especially since this card has a powerful karmic tie. So whether we're looking at karmic situations, in general, the shifting, changing type of energy could be very important with the Death card. The big challenge with this, aside from the ending archetype or the end of a chapter, is the Death card is very intense, and it can often represent things that are kind of out of our hands. Okay, so for some Geminis, there might be certain situations where it's like, oh, you've done what you could do, or there's not much you could really do about it, which can be frustrating in and of itself. So I feel like we have a lot to look into further. I mean, I don't feel like it's a bad reading by any means, but I feel like there's just a lot of depth and there's a lot of questions. So I want to dive deeper on all of it. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for my Gemini friends. What's happening, my guides? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that Two of Swords. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Gemini, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Two of Swords. What is happening? Okay. All right. So we have another very mysterious card showing up. We have the High Priestess in reverse underneath this Two of Swords. So it's just jam-packed with mystery. Now, when the High Priestess, pardon me, when she shows up in reverse, it does talk about something coming to the surface. So I do feel for a lot of Geminis, if you are on a fact-finding mission, you're going to get your answers. For some of your intuition could be proven right. So if you've been having a gut feeling about a situation, a gut feeling about a person, when I see the High Priestess in reverse under the Two of Swords, it's like, no, your feelings will be proven right. So whether it's something that's already happened, where it's like, ah, I knew it, or that's still to come, that could be the case. So you might want to make a mental note of that. Now, the High Priestess, it does tie into Pisces. I also link it to the other water signs. So there's a strong watery type of energy. I would say in this time, don't suppress your intuition at all. You might be more focused in and keener on discerning energies than you might give yourself credit for. When I see her in reverse underneath the Two of Swords, it's not like, oh no, what you're feeling is wrong. Don't let anyone gaslight you in this time too. I don't know where that came from, but don't tell people that what you're feeling is nonsense. It's so bizarre how it shows up. But when I see the Two of Swords and the High Priestess in reverse underneath it, it's like the unknown becoming known. So whether this is like information coming to the surface, it could even be a conversation that comes in out of nowhere, like surprising, unexpected talk, or just a situation in itself where it's like the unknown becomes known. So there's like a revelation or revealing happening here with information. Let's see what's up with the Page of Swords. We'll see what he has, because it's peculiar how this energy is showing up. So why is the Page of Swords here for my Gemini friends? Thank you. Okay, so that came out quick, and we are seeing a big theme here this week, Gemini. We have the Seven of Swords in reverse underneath the Page of Swords, and I've already been talking about it. Someone that they're like in investigation mode, like, oh, I need to know, I need to see. There's something like I can't put my finger on it. The Seven of Swords is also a mysterious, shrouded card of someone or something doing things in the shadows. Now, I will say this for a very small portion of you. When I see the Page of Swords with the Seven of Swords in reverse, it is very defensive and skeptical on purpose. So this could be Spirit saying like, all right, well, maybe someone does have their eye on you. Maybe they're trying to see what's going on, how you're feeling, and what you're thinking. If this isn't you digging into the situation or another person in themselves, when I see the Page of Swords, Seven of Swords in reverse, it's like, oh, there's someone you need to keep an eye out for. So whether it's someone you're very skeptical about them, skeptical about their motives, this could be a warning or a Spirit saying like, listen, there's a person you need to beware of. You need to have your guard up here. There's something you're not quite seeing. So to me, it does feel like beware of this person or beware of a very specific individual. And if that hits, you already know who I'm talking about. That's the vibe. Now, I will see what shows up with the Death card, but there's just this searching, fact-finding, investigation type of energy here up front. I haven't experienced anything like this in a long time. But yeah, Seven of Swords, it's not always terrible, but like I said, there is either someone that you are skeptical about or you need to be careful with, okay? Especially with this. So let's move into the Death card. We'll see what shows up there. And then we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadows. So very intense energy this week, Gemini. And remember, you can watch your other signs. This doesn't have to hit for every single Gemini out there. But you watch your other signs and alignments. But why is Death here for the Geminis, please? Okay. And now the energy detaches on the back end. So we do have the Hermit, which withdraws. And it's giving me a very, I don't want to say bizarre, but it's a very specific message. I feel like I'm doing a personal reading here, my friends. When I see the Hermit with its retracted, withdrawn energy, if you're not connected to a Virgo or a Scorpio, to me, it's like, I care until I don't. That's the vibe I'm getting here. So for some Geminis, maybe there is something you really care about and you're focusing and you're doing this, that, and the other thing. But it's like the energy drops off a cliff. So it's like, I care until I don't. So again, whether that's another person or yourself, because the Death card and the Hermit, that's an energy that like detaches. So it goes from like fully digging into things, whether it is as revelation or the things we're talking about, the energy detaches on the back end. So again, whether you're detaching from a situation, detaching from a person, it's like I care about it a lot. Maybe I care about it a little too much. Don't care at all. It's like extreme in the way this energy detaches itself. That's the word I keep using here. Okay, so again, whether you're detaching from a habit, a thought process, a person, a situation, this Hermit under the Death card, it's like I'll see myself out quietly. It's giving me that type of vibe. So again, I'm not sure how that fits. It's a very unique type of reading here this week, Gemini. I wish I could know what you're all going through. But again, it doesn't always have to be like fire and brimstone. Let's go through and do a quick recap, then we'll get into the shadow cards. So there's just so much mystery here. Like all the cards are kind of dark, if I do say so myself, with the Two of Swords, High Priestess, Seven of Swords, Hermit, the Death card. These are all very shrouded types of cards. So if none of that was hitting for you, Gemini, this could be like subconscious shadow work that Spirit might want you to focus on in this time. So if life's good, everything's fine, you're on top of the world, your vibration's high, maybe Spirit wants you to confront some shadow work. That could be it. But position number one, we have the Two of Swords with the High Priestess in reverse. So again, a revelation, what's unknown becoming known, your intuition and your gut being proven right. Like, I knew it. It's giving me that type of energy here. So watch out for unexpected or surprising situations or information even like popping up, because I do feel a revealing. Moving to the center, we have the Page of Swords with the Seven of Swords in reverse, very guarded, very skeptical. To me, this is giving investigator type of energy. So whether it's a situation you're investigating or digging deeper into, it's like, I need to know more. I need to know all the facts. Okay, for some of you, maybe someone's watching you, that could be possible. But this can also represent Spirit warning you about a specific individual or a situation where it's like, all right, well, just be very cautious with this. Be very careful with this. Moving to the back end, we have the Death card with the Hermit in the upright, an energy that seems to just detach out of nowhere. So it's like we have a lot of care, we have a lot of investment. I need to know, I need to see, and then boom, I don't care anymore. So it's like a big extreme in energy from like full invested to full detachment here on the back end. And it also feels like kind of quiet too. Like I'll see myself out type of energy. So it could be a little avoidant. But yeah, please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadow. And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get you one. And if you've made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this going here. What do we got? For my Geminis, please. And we've had nothing but shadow cards all reading. Let's see if they serve us another. So it's the complete opposite. When we're in the main part of the reading, we get nothing but like shadowy shadow work type of cards. When we get into the shadows, we get the sun. Okay, so for some of you, whether this is a Leo, this really ties deeply in to this first alignment, because what was I speaking about? Realizations, revelations, what's unknown becoming known. And what does the sun do? It illuminates everything it touches. So remember, we're looking at this in the shadows. So specifically, if you're not connected to any Leos, when I see the sun, it's like, oh no, it will all snap into place. You'll realize something, or that information will come out one way or another. That's definitely the case when the sun is here. The one thing I will also say is the sun is very positive. It's the most positive card in the whole entire deck. It's optimistic. So maybe after all this energy clears up, there's something really amazing coming your way. Or like on the other side of whatever this is that we're looking at, the sun is there shining. So similar to what we had in the beginning, the perspective, trying to be optimistic, kind of two covers of the same book, if that makes sense. So we're going to put that sun right there, Gemini. That's what I have for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the May subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, you could book a personal reading with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. You could go check out my digital calendar for availability. But for the May subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 3 copies of one of the most beautiful new decks out there, the Stained Glass Tarot. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the zodiac signs, which one is your favorite? Not your sign. Which one do you work best with? Which flows with your energy? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.